Met bijna 200 nationaliteiten en 107 gesproken talen mag Londen zich een van de meest diverse steden in de wereld noemen. De helft van alle inwoners hier is niet geboren in het Verenigd Koninkrijk en 1 op 40 Londenaren is Holyby. Al die diversiteit vertaalt zich ook in kunst. Karim Samuels leidt al 5 jaar toeristen rond langs de indrukwekkendste muurschilderingen in Londen. 18 jaar geleden vertrok Karim uit zijn vaderland Zimbabwe om in Londen zelf als street artist aan de slag te gaan.
Everything happens so fast now, mostly because of the internet. And, in graffiti and street art, you're not limited by, your color, gender, race, age, and so on and so on. So it's like if you really want to do something, you will, regardless of, any aspect that might hold you back.
Geen enkele rondleiding is dezelfde voor Karim. Onder andere in Shoreditch, onder street artists een wereldberoemde wijk, worden de meeste tekeningen al gauw overschilderd.
How long does a piece last? It lasts long if it's been painted well and people really like it. Then generally it's left alone. As far as I know, it's a Banksy from 2002. The Happy Choppers piece it's called. But it depends what's been painted and where it's been painted. If it's offensive, chances are it'll be painted out by the council. If your piece lasts for a month, you're lucky. Anything's possible. It's just about the consequences. If you paint over someone else's work, they're probably going to try and find everything you painted and paint it out. Right? And if you meet them, well, who knows? Who knows what could happen? Right? They'll probably try and fight you.
Onder de straatkunstenaars geldt de ongeschreven regel dat ze afblijven van overheidsgebouwen, religieuze gebouwen en begraafplaatsen. Dat neemt niet weg dat veel muurtekeningen illegaal zijn. Een boete kost minstens 75 pond, zo'n €88, maar kan al gauw oplopen tot enkele duizenden euro's.
I'd say every wall is illegal until you know that you have permission to do it. Until the owner comes out and says, yeah, it's okay. Unless you're painting at a Hall of Fame, like Leek Street under Waterloo Bridge. I can't say for sure whether they analyze every single tag, but if you do a lot, if you do loads and it's obvious that you've done a lot, then yeah, they will be after you.
I get this! London calling, yes, I was there too. And you know what they said? Well, some of it was true. London calling at the top of the dial. And after all this, won't you give me a smile?
In de Londense buitenwijk East Dulwich woont een andere kunstenaar, Stephen Wright. Hij stak de benedenverdieping van zijn huis boordevol met kleurrijke poppetjes, speelgoed, juwelen en mozaïeken en noemde het zijn House of Dreams. Voor Stephen zijn het niet zomaar versieringen.
It started in 1998, which is a long time ago now. I started the project with Donald Jones, my partner, who was alive at the time. And it was about making something that we could leave behind after we've died. I mean, it's a monument to my life and it's a monument to other people's lives as well, really. I lost 3 people in 18 months, the 3 closest people in my life, which has left a very big mark, really, and influenced the work that I do. It wasn't intended to be like that, but it's it is dedicated to Donald and to my parents, but not solely.
Af en toe brengen bezoekers persoonlijke voorwerpen mee om ze een plek te geven in het House of Dreams.
Yes, they do. I don't always accept them though, because for me that's part of what I like to do. I like to go out and hunt for things. That's what I call it. Sometimes the objects are very interesting. They bring things like hair and teeth, and from loved ones that they want to leave here. We have someone's ashes here. A guy brought his wife's ashes here, which is very moving, really, to think that he wanted to leave them here because she loved it, here. So, she's here in the wall. Sometimes the things are rubbish and I don't want them, so I take them to the charity shop.
People interpret things very differently. So if you paint a green circle on the street, some people might think it's an apple, some people might think it's a lime. And interpretation is very tricky, even in just everyday communication. So I think, maybe the job of the artist is to find other ways of communicating.
In de Londense wereld van graffiti en street art kennen veel kunstenaars elkaar. Toch vormen de street artists volgens Karim niet zo'n hechte groep als je zou denken.
Well, yes and no. It's made up of a lot of different fragmented, communities. So for example, old school artists that have been painting since the 80s and stuff, and they tend to hang out together. And then you have younger generations coming up, and then you have sometimes it's split by types of art as well. So definitely, it's a big competition. Graffiti is like an urban sport. It's all about bigger, better, and more.
Harder, better, faster, stronger.
Most of the things in my house are from other countries, really. England doesn't inspire me. I think it's a dull little place, really. But I need to be doing what I'm doing here. That's really important. So there's a lot of objects for flea markets in Paris, Mexico, Budapest. I've just come back from India and I bought a whole load of stuff. I mean, it's about sort of building an environment that I want to hide in a very difficult city. But I mean, everything is in this house for a reason. It's not to fill a space. It has an energy, and I can tell you, I mean, there are thousands of objects in this house, and I can tell you where they're all from. I sometimes move the sculptures around. Some of the objects are moved around a bit when I get bored with them, in certain positions. But no, life's too short to move it all around, and I need to move on.
Het levenswerk van Steven staat sinds kort op de lijst van de National Trust, zeg maar de Britse erfgoedlijst.
Well, I approached them because quite a lot of the environments in France are protected by the government, by the state. And I thought, well, I'm spending the rest of my life producing this house. Why can't someone in my country protect what I'm doing? Because what I'm doing is unique. So I approached the trust. We had meetings, and they've agreed to take it when I die. I own the property until I go, and then it's handed over to them, and they can do what they want with it then. I won't be here, so it doesn't matter. They are supposed to leave it like it is. I mean, that is written down.
Zo goed als het huis van Steven bewaard zal blijven, zo vergankelijk is het werk van de meeste street artists. Er is maar één graffiti-kunstenaar in Londen die werken heeft met een beschermde status. Toch weet niemand precies wie hij is.
Banksy is the only artist whose work is protected. I've heard it's grade 2 listed as well, like a very old building. Banksy's the only artist in the UK who can paint something illegally and then it becomes protected by local councils, which is rather ironic, I think. There are people that say they know him. If you Google around, you'll find some theories and stuff, but as far as I know, none of it's been proven to be true. For me, all of this is hearsay, so I don't know whether it's true or not. And I guess that's one of the things that makes Banksy's work so interesting is all of these questions that arise around who he is.
Om de mooiste street art van de Britse hoofdstad te ontdekken kan je een gids inhuren. Maar door zelf op pad te gaan ontdek je vaak nog veel meer interessante tekeningen. Bovendien kost het je niets. Voor 10 pond kan je het House of Dreams bezoeken. In 2016 deden 1600 mensen dat. Het museum is wel maar enkele dagen per jaar geopend. Hoe verschillend de kunstvormen ook zijn, de passie voor hun vak delen de kunstenaars allemaal.